Bonjour and welcome to the French Moods. This video is part 2 of the indicative mood. So what is l'indicatif, the indicative? The indicative is all about facts and statements. These are sentences such as, the pen was blue, I ate food yesterday, he brushed his teeth. These sentences are very common because the indicative is the most common mood. The indicative is a grammatical way of breaking apart verbs by purpose. Tenses are the times that these verbs exist in, so past, present, or future. The two tenses of the indicative mood we will focus on in this video are the passé composé, which is mainly used for action in the past, and the imperfect, l'imparfait, which is used for description in the past. Both tenses work together to narrate in the past. Starting with the passé composé. The passé composé is formed with a subject, then avoir or etre, which is the auxiliary, conjugated to the subject, then a past participle, which doesn't change. So the past participle is formed in 3 ways. If it's an ER verb, you drop the ending, so you drop the ER, and replace it with an E accent aigu. If it's an IR verb, drop the ending and replace it with just an I. With an RE verb, you drop the ending and replace it with a U. An example of a past participle for each would be manger for manger, fini for finir, and vendu for vendre. While most verbs take avoir as the auxiliary, some verbs take etre. These are known as the Vandertramps, or verbs of being. These verbs agree with their subject based on number and gender, as shown in the picture. Just a note, passe is sometimes considered a Vandertramp depending on what it's used with. If it's used with a person or something that can be, or if it's used with an action such as like the time, passing the time. So with these, you use etre, you conjugate it the same way you would conjugate avoir, and you have the past participle, but you would have an E if your subject is feminine or an S if your subject is plural. Although it looks like the passé composé is made up of 2 verbs, there's only one verb, the auxiliary, etre or avoir. The second verb is a past participle. Now knowing that, it's easy to figure out how negation is very simple. The negation just goes around the verb. So for example, you would say, Je n'ai pas dormi hier soir. The next concept is direct objects in the passé composé. With direct objects, the past participle does show agreement with the object in number and gender. So, in these examples, you can clearly see that with a feminine object or with a plural object, you would add an E or an S to the past participle. With reflexives in the passé composé, you would use etre because you're doing something to yourself, similar to Vandertramps. The object goes before the auxiliary once again, and you also have to remember to agree. Now on to the imperfect. The imperfect is formed with the subject, the imperfect stem, and the imperfect endings. The stem is the new form of the present tense verb without the ONS. The imperfect endings are AIS, AIS, AIT, IONS, IEZ, AIENT. With the IR verbs, just watch your stem. You need to have the ISS because your stem comes from the present new form. RE verbs are very straightforward, just make sure you watch the stem. The only irregular is etre, which takes the stem E accent aigu, T. All other commonly irregular verbs take the new form in the present tense as their stems. The imperfect has many uses. The primary use is for description in the past. Another use is habitual actions in the past. So anything that in English we would say, I used to do, or when I was younger, I would do this often. Mostly, this tense is used for narration in the past, and it works together well with the passé composé to tell a full story that happened in the past.